For the first time since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived to Moscow on an official visit to talk with Putin. During their meeting, they congratulated each other on their new terms in office. Modi recently became the head of the government for the third time. Putin presented the guest with the Order of St. Andrews the Apostle I called. However, Modi came to Moscow primarily to solve his own problems. Experts say trade, investment, energy, and the military-industrial complex. Cooperation in these spheres was the central theme of the talks.
India wants to address the imbalance in trade relations because trade turnover has increased, but due to India buying more oil. But Russia mostly imports from China, not India, and so India wants to offer more of its goods for the accumulated rupees.
India's Prime Minister has asked Putin to return Indian citizens illegally recruited into the Russian army. Earlier, India's Central Bureau of Investigation said that it had discovered a network of recruiters who were luring young people to go to the Federation, allegedly to enroll in private universities. In Russia, their passports were taken away from them, and they were sent to fight in the war against Ukraine. According to Indian media, dozens of Indian nationals still remain in the Russian army. However, after Modi's conversation with Putin, the Russian authorities promised to disgrace them.
Prime Minister Modi, who is in Moscow for a two-day visit, raised the issue at a private dinner hosted by Putin last evening, sources said. Russia agreed to discharge all Indians serving in their army and facilitate their return, from NDTV publication.
In a brief part of his meeting with Putin that was open to the press, the Indian Prime Minister was extremely careful when talking about Russia's war against Ukraine.
India has always called for respecting the UN Charter, including territorial integrity and sovereignty. There is no solution on the battlefield. Dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, from NDTV publication.
Initially, the Kremlin press service reported that the bilateral meeting would last 2 days. However, for unknown reasons, the extended talks which were to be held on Tuesday were cancelled. Before leaving Moscow, Narendra Modi reacted to Russian strike on Kyiv's largest children's hospital.
When there is war, battles, every person who believes in humanity feels pain at the sight of death, especially when innocent children are killed. The sight of innocent children dying is heartbreaking, and this pain is extremely horrible. In the midst of bombs, guns and bullets, solutions and peace talks do not succeed. We will have to pursue peace only through negotiations.
The Pentagon reacted to Modi's visit to Moscow. A defense official said that India remains a strategic partner of the United States, and Washington hopes that New Delhi will be able to convey to Putin the importance of respecting the UN Charter and the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity.
But I don't think anybody will be surprised if President Putin tries to represent this visit in a way that seeks to somehow show he is not isolated from the rest of the world. And the fact of the matter is that President Putin's war of choice has isolated Russia from the rest of the world, and it's come at great cost.
After Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, India did not join Western restrictions on the aggressor country. On the contrary, it took advantage of the situation and imported a record amount of Russian oil at a favorable price. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.